This is an inference question and we have to identify a prediction that can be logically derived from the argument. There is no conclusion in the argument and the missing link is not required. Our broad expectation from the correct answer choice is that it should be duly deducible from the information in the passage without any assumption or extrapolation. Answer choice A. This answer choice talks about what happens if Siddhau fails to remain militarily dominant. The argument mentions that so long as Siddhau is militarily dominant or formidable, it is beneficial for Bergland, and depending on whether it is beneficial for Bergland, it would be allowed to retain its military style of dominance after reintegration. So it can be inferred that if Siddhau fails to remain militarily dominant, it may not be beneficial for Bergland, and in that case, it may not be allowed to retain its military style of governance. However, the argument does not suggest that it will not be reintegrated if it is not beneficial for Bergland, which is what is suggested in this answer choice. In other words, this answer choice cannot be inferred from the argument. So let's eliminate this answer choice. Answer choice B. The argument makes no suggestion regarding any restrictions on the citizens of Siddhau. So this answer choice cannot be inferred. So let's eliminate this answer choice. Answer choice C. This answer choice says that if there is a security crisis in the region 5 years from now, it will not affect Siddhau. Now, for a security crisis to not affect Siddhau, it has to be militarily formidable. And the argument mentions that Siddhau will remain militarily formidable as long as it retains its military style of governance until reintegration. So in other words, for a security crisis to take place in the region and not affect Siddhau, it must retain its military style of governance until reintegration and must be militarily formidable. However, the argument makes no prediction regarding whether Siddhau will retain its military style of governance until reintegration and whether it will remain militarily formidable until that time. So this answer choice cannot be inferred because of the lack of certainty related to the military formidability of Siddhau 5 years from now. So let's eliminate this answer choice. Answer choice D. This answer choice says that Siddhau will be militarily formidable 5 years from now. The argument mentions that Siddhau will remain militarily formidable as long as it retains its military style of governance until reintegration. But the argument does not suggest whether Siddhau will retain its military style of governance until reintegration. So nothing can be inferred about whether Siddhau will remain militarily formidable. So it cannot be inferred that Siddhau will be militarily formidable 5 years from now. So let's eliminate this answer choice. Answer choice E. This answer choice makes a prediction about what would happen if Siddhau is able to retain its military style of governance for the next 5 years. The argument mentions that if Siddhau retains its military style of governance until reintegration, that means until 5 years from now, it will remain militarily formidable. The argument also mentions that so long as Siddhau is militarily formidable, it is beneficial for Bergland, and so long as it is beneficial, it will be allowed to retain its military style of governance after it is reintegrated with Bergland. So combining all these pieces of information, it can be inferred that if Siddhau retains its military style of governance, that is this part here, it will remain militarily formidable, because of which it will be beneficial for Bergland, because of which it will retain its military style of governance after reintegration in 5 years. So it can be inferred that if Siddhau is able to retain its military style of governance for the next 5 years, it will continue to do so afterwards. This answer choice can be directly inferred from the statements in the argument. E is the correct answer choice.